Alrighty. Welcome back to Lenz, Comic Corner Classics, Classics. This episode number 2007, Doubleshot number 1901. Now, the two trades here are basically from the very start of the New 52. The era considered part of New 52 is from 2011 to 2016. That's New 52 era. This first book was actually canceled after 8 issues, and they collected all one trade. And basically, one of the writers, one of the people who worked in this book, who's basically did the artwork and co-writing the book, actually created one of the characters in this book, Dove. Yeah, I'm talking about Hawk and Dove by Rob Liefeld and Sterling Gates, which this is called First Strikes. Yes, this collects the entirety of the 8-issue volume that is Volume 5. That was canceled due to low sales. And by the way, when this book got canceled, Rob Liefeld got, I think he got Hawkman, Deathstroke, and I think it was Grifter, if I'm not mistaken. Because I remember hearing that he got 3 books as soon as basically this book got canceled. Yes. And those books are it was Grifter, Deathstroke, and Savage Hawkman. And this is basically I've already discussed Grifter. I've already discussed Deathstroke and the Savage Hawkman series. This is technically the last Rob Liefeld of his brief return he did DC Comics. Well, first time this basically at the time this was released, this is the first time he worked anything for DC since 2 issues of Teen Titans back in 2006. This came out in 2011. This is the first time in 5 years anything for DC. As far as I can tell, that's true, correct? Let's see. Yeah, I believe so, because this is the only thing I can think of that prior to this that he worked on. Well, this is actually for DC. Now, mostly put, basically, this is the character Don Green. This is the character he created for this series. Hawk himself is not a creation of Rob Liefeld. Nope, it is not. Rob Liefeld has never given credit for creating Hank Hall. Not at all. He is actually a creation of the late Steve Ditko. So, at least gotta praise Rob Liefeld without claiming credit of Hawk, but he is claiming credit of Don Granger. Yes. Now, basically, they're the avatars of order and chaos. That's most of what it is. Hawk is more of a violent type, who basically all for war, and Dove is all for peace. Excuse me. Also, they bring up the fact in this book. This is also mentioned in the pages of DC Universe Presents about her relationship with Deadman. That for some reason, after this book got canceled, after Deadman's feature ended for DC Universe Presents, the relationship was completely forgotten about. Yeah, apparently no one in DC has brought the fact that Dove is dating a ghost. Yep, I am not kidding. We also have other people who are basically other Hawkmen, like this Condor and Shining Dove. Like, I think it was Swan, I believe her name is. Yeah, these are kind of like evil versions of Hawk and Dove. I'm not sure why the heck Liefeld created these characters for, but he did. Oh, in case you're curious though, Teddy worked in the Hawk and Dove book prior to this one. Yes, he worked on the second volume that was published in the late 80s. The book that lasted for 5 issues, and he left DC Comics at that point after that final issue that volume came out. All because of the final issue, issue 5. An issue that was, from what I've heard from someone who did basically research on it, the reason why he left, because he did not like the fact that the editorial staff edited his artwork of the final issue. He basically wanted to do like this ultimate plane, and the panels basically arranged in not a good order, according to him anyways. Basically, he was still used his style, basically, when he went over to Marvel and when he helped found Image Comics. And after this book came out, he never did anything for DC for a long time until he did those 2 issues of Teen Titans, and then he did this book. Is this book bad? No, it is not. I got at least, now he does this with Sterling Gates, who is a good writer. He also did books like, let's see, he worked on Just Like America's Vibe. Yeah, he worked on that book. I believe he also did a very good run for Supergirl that I personally enjoy. It was from the 5th volume for the series. You know, the run basically with Supergirl show up for Belly. Where it had a costume basically show up for Belly. The one started by Jeff Loeb in 2006. It was concluded in 2011. Yeah, he basically wrote like half the volume. He took over to issue 31 and he left just prior to the end of the run. Got this guy praised for staying along that long. Yep. Now, this actually was the first book he worked in the DC for New 52. And Sterling Gates, from what I've heard about him, apparently prior to him becoming a writer, he was an assistant for Jeff Johns. Yes, seriously, that's what was his job before he became a writer for DC Comics. Now, after this book was concluded, of course, he took over the writing for America's Vibe, which I have reviewed that. Really good series. He also did February Argus, the final issue of Stormwatch. Yeah, he did the last issue of that run after Jim Starlin left the book. He did 2 more books for DC after that. He did Flash Season 0. I've read it. It's actually really good. And Avengers Supergirl. Another really good book. Yep. Now, surprisingly for DC, he has done a lot for DC. And you're thinking, really? He hasn't? Yeah, he hasn't. He's mostly done some stuff for DC. He only worked DC from 2008 to like 2016 was the last time he worked DC. And the first book he worked on was stuff for Sinestro War. He worked on one-shots for that one. Cover 2 issues of Green Lantern, a backup feature from Vertigo. I believe this was the Superboy feature. Yes, which I have reviewed that one. It's really good. Yeah, he did, of course, like I said, he did Supergirl. He did issues, actually it was 34 I came out with, and he left with issue 50. Yes, that's when he left. The Marquez Volume 4 is actually Volume 5. He did work on the Volume 4 What's Finds. I have discussed him before, I believe so. He did some issues for... He was one of the writers for Superman Last End of New Krypton. And also, he worked on War of the Supermen. Of course, yes, he also worked on Fantasy with Prometheus. He worked on, like, just prior to this book, he did work on Flashpoint, Kid Flash, Lost. Yep. Yeah. Sterling Gates, Sterling Gates is also, I believe he did work on, well, he did also create the Caitlin Snow version of Killer Frost. Yes, a character who sits on TV, though that version used aspects of not only his character, it basically adapted his character mostly, but also adapted aspects from the first 2 Killer Frost. But in the case of this book in particular, one thing that Liefeld, oh, by the way, if you're curious though, apparently Liefeld did science, and in case you're curious though, no, I've never met him. I've seen him once in person at Comic-Con several years ago, but never met him. Now, interesting enough, yes, it is Rob Liefeld's style. Yes, also reading this book, it feels like reading some stuff for Youngblood because the art style is just, well, so similar. And here's Condor, but this is pretty much the artwork in a nutshell. And yeah, so Rob Liefeld did at one point take over the co-writing for this book. Oh yeah, and plus also because this is Liefeld, he loves doing this. How about a 2-page spread on this side in 2011? He loves doing this. So, yeah. Aside from the fact this is standard Rob Liefeld fare, at least got praise him for this. His feet are actually pretty good because apparently he has a fetish for never drawing feet. And yes, they do it here with Batman in this storyline here. Mm-hmm. It's not bad at all. Not really. Also, they get to take on freaking Blockbuster. Yes, Blockbuster. In case you're curious though, which Blockbuster is, it's actually the original Blockbuster. The one who in pre-Flashpoint is dead. Yeah, though this is actually a rebooted version of the character. Excuse Excuse me. You could say that's one of the biggest issues with this book. I mean, yeah, it does kind of feel like where. Okay, so apparently this book here was the first post-flash appearance, excuse me, of the original Mark Desmond, aka the first Blockbuster. Surprisingly, he would pop up in Cyber Chalkman for a few issues, and he was mostly just a recurring character a lot in Justice League America, appeared in like one in Justice League United. You might be asking, what was his most recent appearance to date? In issue of Teen Titans. No, seriously. An issue that came out roughly about 7 years ago. Yeah, that was his most recent appearance. Also, Condor and Swan, they got killed off with the previous issue 5. Yep. Yeah, they're only there for like 5 issues, only around for a few issues, and that's it. Yeah, seriously. It's like they're there for the start and then they drop just to introduce more characters. Oh, by the way, we also have appearance by Damian Wayne Robin. Yes, because who else would it be in this thing? Because it's clearly not Tim Drake. It's Damian. Yep, it's Damian. Also, they have a character known as a Necromancer up here in this issue. Yes. Very original character. Now, I'm going to show you is a character who looks very similar to have a character who popped up in Youngblood. Let's see if I can find him here. Yeah, take a look at this guy here. Does it look like that character from Youngblood? Yeah. Yeah, that seems like to me. It seems like Liefeld basically, style-wise, just used the style we know for basically for Youngblood and a little bit of Deadpool. That's mostly what you get if we read this book. Basically, comes to artwork and how characters are designed because it's Liefeld. It's not a terrible book per se. It's actually a pretty decent book for what it is. I give the book a 9.5 out of 10. All right, next up it is the first trade of the new 52 round for Blue Beetle. I have discussed Volume 2 once before. Excuse me. And you're probably thinking, when in the world did that happen? You might ask. Well, let's find out. I remember discussing it, just don't remember when. Maybe I did at some point, probably forgot about it, I'm not sure. Oh, I thought I did. My mistake. So, this, of course, is the start of the Tony Bedard run for Blue Beetle. Yes, first of 3 trades. I thought I reviewed Volume 1, but I cannot seem to find it. The video that is. I mean, I thought I did review, but apparently I didn't. So, this is a relaunch of the The previous volume for Blue Beetle, this is of course published in New 52. Jaime Reyes. Yes, I.G. Guerrero does the artwork. Linkar has a review of this whole run before, but I'm discussing the trades form here. Now, most put basically, like, anything associated with the previous volume, it's not here. Aside from the fact you see Jaime Reyes' parents. His sister is nowhere to be seen for some reason. And apparently he's invited to go to a birthday party by Brenda. Paco is here. Apparently he's very estranged from his friends for reasons. La Dama is not really in these issues at all. We also have appearances here by various strange villains per se. It feels very disjointed basically when I was reading this book. It's like, you can think of it as basically a bunch of random things happen and basically no clear direction. Yeah. The writing for Jaime is fine. Also, he apparently is written where apparently he can't tell anybody who he really is. Excuse me, not even his parents. With the previous continuity, he did. But with the Saturday one, it's okay. I give the book a 9 out of 10. Yep. So yeah, that's it. Particular review. Next up is going to be... Who's going to want to hang out, okay? Thanks for you. Bye.